Hello, thank you for tuning into this week's reads. This is James 13 Wicca on YouTube, just in case you're wondering where the video came from. The main part of the read, I'm going to use the Thelema Tarot. And where's the name? I thought there was a name who created it on here. Just completely blanked. Renata Lechner. It's on here on this side, I believe. And if you want to find this deck, there's the website loscarabeo.com, loscarabeo.com. Feel free to check that out if you're interested. For the tarot, for the oracle cards, magical spell cards by Lucy Cavendish, illustrated by Jesse Reish, and at the bottom there's hayhouse.com. Feel free to check that out if you're interested. And I use dice. I use a 21-sided dice, which does omit the 0, but that's what I use for the major arcana. I use a 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, and a 4-sided dice to pick the suit. I want to say that the bigger dice came with this. Tom Anders, hopefully it's there. I want to say it's impactminiatures.com. There's this on the back too, if that's easier for you to use. Feel free to use that. And for the smaller dice, the 14-sided one, it's Math Art Fun, if I can get this behind there. mathartfun.com, if you're interested to find that. And the little pink one I use is, I think it's from Amazon. I've had it for years. Alright, so that's what we have for that. Of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you for watching, and now on to your read. Hello, Scorpio. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you watch them. That being said, what do we have for Scorpio? I'm like, Scorpio. Ooh, you got the 6 of Wands right at the top. Let's get through the whole thing before I get too excited, right? All right. 6 of Wands is a success card. I think that's why I'm like, all about it. One more? Okay. Okay, so this seems to be very heavy on this situation. So it's not, okay, this is around the situation, around it. So like if this was a situation like you and a friend group, this could be one of your friends having this issue. Not so much you, but this fact that somebody's having this issue could be affecting you. And I had this fall out of the deck when I was shuffling. It's the 3 of Swords, and it fell off to the side, and it seems like it's more of an issue in the future than it is now. Somebody who just maybe they just don't, I don't know, they just never seem to fully make it. They just can't seem to make it the full distance. It's almost like, you know, it's kind of like making that dinner but always burning one thing at least. It just never seems to come together, and sometimes that one little thing they burned, they just can't seem to get over it. It reminds me of literally like if you're having, like say you're making meatloaf, just to make it simple, or they're making meatloaf. They burn part of it, but it's kind of like it's salvageable. Just don't eat the burn part. You know what I mean? The rest of it's really good. It's not that bad where we're going to throw the whole thing out, but maybe like the bottom's burned a little bit. So, you know, we cut that part off and we serve what did make it through. And you probably see the positives here, but they're always holding on like, oh yeah, I burned that, or that was ruined, or it's kind of like their energy might be a little bit on the negative side. Be aware of it because it could damage things for you a little bit. Just be aware of it is what they're saying. Now, the situation that you're dealing with, whatever this is, I feel like I haven't been thinking about it all that much. This could be... It could be anything. It could be romance. I'm not really thinking it's there, but it could be for some of you. Take it with a grain of salt. It's some type of connection here or something. Could be the job. Could be the job you do. You don't really overthink it in the sense of like where you're going or where you're going next. You're just kind of handling it. It's kind of like it is what it is for right now. I show up, I do what I do, and that's that. Could be somebody you're helping out in your life. I'm not really thinking about the next step. I'm just handling what I need to handle. I got a lot of other things going on. You've gotten used to it is what I'm also getting. Okay. Wherever you are in this situation, you've gotten used to it. So, I'm going to come around to the romance thing. I don't know why I'm so adverse to it at the moment, but I'll come around to the romance thing. So, if you're in a relationship, maybe it's just been the same for a while and you're used to it. If you're a single person, maybe you've gotten used to being a single person and you're just like, it is what it is. I don't seem to be bothered by it. It's fine. But there's something coming in. When something does show up or when this change comes up, I don't feel like it's going to bother you. I feel like it's something I wasn't really thinking about, but when it does show up, I do want it. Now, I feel like I took that out of order, but you're used to whatever it is. Something is about to show up. It's not here yet, but what they're saying is whatever you're used to, something different is coming in, something more desirable that maybe you haven't been centering on for a long time. But they're saying for you to really get the best, it's kind of like the thought, it's going to start showing up in your thoughts. So I don't know why I'm so adverse to this, but I'll use the romance thing. Say you've been single for a while. You're kind of like, you know what, actually I think I would like somebody around. I would like that again, but I don't want what I've had, or I don't want to repeat something I had before, or whatever that is. There's some thoughts I have to go through with that. I have to go through and kind of like, all right, what happened? What happened before? What went wrong before? What did they do? What did I do? Why did that not work out? Blah, 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 blah. Paul McKenna, big fan of Paul McKenna, British author. Anything grabs your fancy there, go for it. If you do have relationship issues in the past, I highly recommend a therapist if you're open to that. Also, I want to do the work one too, because I feel like some of you have maybe been stuck in a position to where people say they like you, people say you do a good job, but they don't seem to move you forward or pay you as much as you feel like they should. So it's kind of like, looking back and kind of like, who has been treating you that way? What have you been doing and not really been getting the compensation for? If you look back at how you've handled it, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently? This is kind of feeling like a self-audit thing, which is going to create a lot of healing. I'm a big fan of self-audits. I do that once in a while for my own life. For example, if a relationship is going well or not going well, or like I'm getting bored with it, I'll do this self-audit and kind of like, well, where are we now? Where has it been? What do I think about that? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. If I could do things differently, knowing what I know now, what would I do differently? Stuff like that. It very much feels like a self-audit thing. I also get like a bit of a rush and a bit of a panic, kind of like almost like I feel like I have to have this done in a certain time frame. That's not the case. As long as you start looking back and doing that self-audit, as you keep moving forward, it'll work in your favor. You're fine. But I feel like if you're considering bringing something in or bringing something better forward, doing that self-audit of like, how have I been up to this point, and how do I, now that I know what I know, what would I have done differently? And if I keep looking at it in that context, that's where I'm really going to get the success out of this. The beauty card is kind of like looking back, especially with the success card right with it, looking back and not having unrealistic expectations, kind of like, if we're going to use the beauty analogy, kind of like now looking back or looking at your body and going, well, I'm looking at this supermodel in this book here, or this model, this beautiful person on this magazine, and I don't feel like I look even close to what they look like, and then like picking yourself apart based on somebody else's standards. They're saying, make sure you don't do that. Look in the mirror and like realize the beauty. Realize the beauty you already have, be it physical, be it emotional, whatever it is, and then realizing that I just want to accent what I already have, and maybe there's certain things I want to change and I have the power to do that. There's nothing wrong with me now, but if I want to change things, that's my business and I can do it. It's more of an empowering look at yourself instead of like going, oh, I don't fit that mold. You don't need to fit somebody else's mold. Looking at, like, for example, maybe you have beautiful eyes and accentuating that more. Or like realizing that, you have a very strong drive and you stick up for other people when you have to, realizing, all right, I want to do that more, but I want to like mold that more to where it works to me versus against me, whatever that means. The energy's fast. It's getting really fast. I'm noticing, like, I'm trying to pull it back, but it really wants to race. So I feel like whenever the next option comes in for whatever you want, it does seem to come in very fast. I'm going with the I mean, we did have the Six of Wands. It is a fire card, but it's not like, I don't usually think of it as speed, but it could be. Where will it end? All right. Oh, the Hermit reversed. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just keep moving forward. The Four of Cups, half in, half out. When this next situation comes in, it's not going to look exactly like you want it to. It has the potential to improve. So it's kind of like that house that's in the perfect spot, in the perfect town, on the perfect street, but it's kind of a fixer-upper. It's kind of like, it's almost but not quite what I want. It's really got a lot going for it, but I'm going to have to put in some work to make it what I really want it to be, or I have to like really research it to see if it can be what I really want it to be. It's going to take some time. Whatever this is, there's something coming forward. They're saying don't do this, and I'm seeing a really positive card, so let's get some more. Knight of Swords, be careful about communication. The Death card, half in, half out. Don't accept it for the way it is when it shows up. Don't feel like that's what it has to be. Don't find a way to like accept, like if you're finding this house, everything is perfect, but the house itself, like the location and all that stuff, there's a lot of great things. It has a pool, it has a nice backyard, everything else is good, but the house itself isn't quite exactly what you wanted. Don't accept it for what it is. Don't accept it for just what it is. Don't put yourself in a position where you learn to love it. That seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? But they're saying don't put yourself in a position where you learn to love it. What they're saying to do is find out where you match with it, make harmony, make peace with it, but keep in mind that this is not exactly where I want to be. This is not my end game. So I got this perfect house, all the other good stuff, but the house itself is not quite there. Start working towards like, what would I want? Maybe it doesn't have maybe you want a back porch and it doesn't have one. Maybe, you'd like a sunroom on the second floor. I don't know if that's a thing or not. Maybe that doesn't make sense. But, there's something like I would like some more space on the second floor. Is that possible? How could I do that? Maybe the roof, I don't like the style of roof it is. Maybe is there a way I could change that? What would I prefer? And then is there an actual way to make that happen? So is there a way I could harmonize this situation to be what I want it to be? And then it says, then you start making the plan and you start working towards it. It's a long haul plan. There's some stress with it, but there's success if you start this plan. But they're saying make harmony with it, harmonize the situation to what you want it to be, and then start slowly moving it towards it. Whatever this is, make it what you want it to be. Don't accept it, make peace like, okay, I'll fall in love for what it is. This is not that type of situation. This is saying, no, harmonize it with what you want it to be. Let's start that goal. Let's set that goal and let's start working towards it. Are we good? There's more here. I'm getting really excited for some reason. I'm getting a really big jolt of energy. I'm like, wow, things seem to go fast. Scorpio is good at getting things done, in my opinion. And I feel like Scorpio, and tell me if I'm wrong, you get a lot done, and sometimes you look back and you're like, I don't know how I did all that, but I did it. I know I did it, but I don't know how I got it all done, but I got it all done. I feel like Scorpio's that energy, but if I'm wrong, let me know. That dice is going to go right off the table, isn't it? Maybe not. Okay, the Empress. Okay, so this is like a distance. We had a distance going on. Knight of Cups reversed and the Empress, half in, half out. Other people might not like where you're going. Other people might get in your way or try to complain about what you're doing, especially if this is a job situation and they get used to you doing what they want and you start doing what you want. There's conflict of interest there. Don't pay attention to other people. Don't let them slow you down. Don't let them redirect your energy. Scorpio is good at keeping secrets if you need to. Keep it to yourself if you have to, what your goal is. They don't need to know that. And if they start poo-pooing things, just keep them out of the loop. Don't let them know what you're doing and just keep going for what you want. A whole new structure is coming in for you with this world. I'm getting whatever this offer is, it has to evolve. It has to evolve to what you want. It may change in unexpected ways. That Nine of Cups is this is about you being happy. Once you're happy, you'll create this environment where everything will fit. It's a long haul. It's going to take you a long time to get there. There's new beginnings that show up later. I think this is why I've been a little bit adverse to the whole love thing, but I guess I'll do it. You may end up starting out a relationship with one person and trying to push things where you want them to go, or trying to like maybe you want somebody who's more active, or somebody who likes to travel, or somebody who's into needlepoint. It could be anything. And it's not really something that's their jam. So you keep doing that stuff. You could end up starting a romantic relationship, moving on from that relationship, and finding something else that's more fitting. I'm just saying. Same thing with the job. You might end up going in a direction, and it's nice, and instead of learning to love it, you start going towards what you want. You may not stay at that job forever, but it might be a stepping stone to where you actually want to be. There may be some unexpected changes here later. I would just keep that in the back of your mind and be open to it. When it comes to this life, they're like, you know what? Some people are there for a lifetime. Some people are there for a season. You may not realize that they're there for a season, but if you let that stay in your brain, kind of like, you know what, this might be a season thing. It might not be. Might be a lifetime. Might be a season. If it's a season, let it be a season. That's all. Don't hold your progress thinking you have to be satisfied with a season and try to make a season into a lifetime. If this other person is more of a seasonal connection or a seasonal input or a seasonal influence, let them be that. Because I'm also getting, if it's a work thing or a relationship thing, if it's meant to be seasonal, you might be able to drag it out for a few years, but it's still going to have its shelf life. Let's keep that in mind. I think we're there. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.